Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Nexus Gaming Series Division A West Playoffs. Number 1 seeded Archetype, number 5 seeded Blasting Burros, and joining me in what is a seat now pretty much reserved for you, my friend, is Famous. How's it going, man?
It's going great. I'm looking forward to some playoff action. Div A going to be pretty hype.
Yeah, I'm slotted to cast with Gravesville, the Division A Grand Final. So I was kind of hoping one of the assigned casters wouldn't be able to do it, so I could snag one of these and start to watch these teams a little bit. So pretty happy to be here, and I actually am pretty familiar with both of these teams too. It seems like whenever I cast a Division A game, it's always Blasting Burros. I don't know why. And I know a couple of the guys on Archetype as well. So some familiar faces for me. I know you played on the other side, Div A East. Did you get a chance to scrim any of these guys at all over the course of the season?
No, unfortunately not. I am familiar with McCallion. I don't know if we've played in the past or what the story is there, or maybe just see him around the unranked draft, team league, something like that, maybe.
Well, while we are hanging tight, I will show the A bracket that I ran late to this game to make, so it's up there. We should definitely use it. Archetype, number 1 seed. They were here 2 seasons ago and were kind of a middle of the pack Division A team. But man, oh man, this season they just took the division by storm. Only had a couple of draws, no losses. Class of the division all season long. Took a 2-1 win over Baby Makers last week in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, they've been absolutely dominant. In fact, taking a 2-0 over Blasting Burros in the regular season.
And Blasting Burros, speaking of, a very veteran team, actually a Heroes of the Dorm team for the Colorado School Mines. These guys have been around as well. Honestly, could see this game going 100% in either direction.
Yeah, should be a close one. Infernal Shrines always plays out pretty evenly.
Yeah, and
Infernal
Shrine's kind of the standby classic of NGS. This definitely the most played map. Was the selection of Archetype and structure of the playoffs is such the higher seed gets to choose map pick or first pick. They chose map pick. Banned out Braxis Holdout, and thank goodness for that. Blasting Burros banned out Towers of Doom, boo. And Archetype decided to take us Infernal Shrines. Both captains are ready. I have hit the start button, and here we go.
Awesome. All right. So ban priority. Archetype's shown a preference to ban out Maev and Genji, where on the other side, we've seen a lot of Yrel, Deckard, as well as some Genji bans from Blasting Burros.
Yeah, other than the Kerrigan, who since her mini rework has kind of insta-banned, she just never goes anywhere anymore. Maybe that changes a little with the nerfs today. I don't think there have been quite enough time for teams to figure that out, so I wouldn't be surprised to see. But other than her, there's really a wide variety of heroes that you're seeing early banned depending on their teams, their pools, their preferences, who they like and don't like, etc., etc.
Yeah, especially the Asmodan is going to be a focal point in this series for me. For sure. I've seen both teams play a lot of Asmodan and have had a lot of success with it. So I think that might be a contested pick on Infernal Shrines here.
But with only 2 bans at the top and so many really strong heroes right now, somebody has to get through.
Exactly. There are so many powerful picks at the moment. And we haven't seen that Kerrigan you alluded to. Oh, as I say it, there she goes. No more Queen of Blades this game.
And like I said, she did get some nerfs today, but it's just not enough time to figure out if that's enough to knock her off the pedestal. Tyrande banned an insta-pick Diablo for Blasting Burros.
Yeah, really powerful choice on Infernal Shrines in particular. Easy to get those souls stacked up. Lots of structure, or I should say, geography for getting his shadow charges colliding with walls. Tychus. All right, pretty big response to the Diablo immediately.
Not just Tychus, it's actually Banana Hammock Tychus, the most powerful of the Tychuses. And Deckard. Yeah. So Diablo's going to have to pick his spots. He's going to be going into kind of the big AoE crowd control that Deckard has with the ceiling Project Cube, and of course Tychus with the minigun can really chunk down that Diablo. So gonna make him think over his choices a little bit more carefully.
We do have an Alexstrasza and Gul'dan coming out, so huge presence on that shrine. That Dragon Queen from Alexstrasza will be a good early game, especially ability to control the shrine, as well as Gul'dan with just excellent shrine control himself.
Yeah, and Alexstrasza, I think probably Shrines in Volskaya her best battlefield. And she pairs so well with Diablo, her percentage-based healing on a really large health pool in Diablo, as Archetype bans out that Genji. So I really like that Alex pick for both the map and to pair up with that Diablo there.
Yeah, post-Heroics, it'll be interesting to see how the Dragon and then Commandeer Odin play out, as both are kind of like a we're taking this point kind of click ultimate. So it'll be interesting to see if they both pop them at the same time or if they end up staggering a bit.
Yeah, the Dragon Queen pretty important. Yeah, for sure. They're kind of those abilities that you pop and it lets the other team know that you're drawing the line right here, that whatever it is we're fighting over, we really want it. So if they both pop at the same time, you don't want to waste those cooldowns. Get into a really knockdown, drag out battle. 2 picks coming for Archetype.
Yeah, they still need a main tank off lane, potentially another damage. Yrel still available. Oh, there's the Johanna and Junkrat. Okay, Junkrat did receive a slight buff today, some extra damage on his auto attack, and then cast range on his concussion mine has gone up by 0.5. So pretty minor, but still, nice little buff.
But they did also actually make the mine itself more visible, so you can't just accidentally walk over it. I'm curious to see what that looks like. I do like the Junkrat response to the Alex, though. You can put that concussion mine on that healing circle and kind of negate some of the healing she provides there. Time it right. And a Leoric Phoenix. I really like that Phoenix Lightning Breath. Purification Salvo is very strong. Archetype responding with even more percentage-based damage in the form of mouthfeel.
Yeah, they have a lot of response to that Diablo. I'm really to keep him alive. In response, I'd like to see Deckard take that Emerald as a way to negate that, so it'll be an interesting little cat and mouse between the two of them and saving that Diablo.
All right, just a few moments away before getting into game 1 on Infernal Shrines. Famous draft, like better.
I'm pretty torn. It's hard to bet against the Diablo Phoenix composition, particularly when it's backed up with an Alexstrasza and a Gul'dan on the Infernal Shrines. I think there's just a lot of synergy there. However, it's going to come down, I think, to the Diablo play. So he, great name, is going to have to really mind his positioning, maybe get that Soul Shield on 1 to negate some of the damage from Malthael. But yeah, I think it'll come down to his play.
I am assuming Ragnarok on the Junkrat can get some big mines to prevent some of that healing on the abundance from Alexstrasza. I like what Archetype's got going. They both have really excellent drafts, and we didn't really talk about a Leoric pick, but the Leoric pick is actually like a specialty of Michael, and you see him on that Leoric all the time. I would say probably in 75 to 80% of the games that I've casted of Blasting Burros, Michelin is on Leoric a lot. So very good on that hero. It'll be interesting to see his impact, because when we were both talking about the drafts, we talked about pretty much everybody else but Leoric, but let's really keep an eye on him. Blue team, Archetype, Ragnarok on Junkrat, Super Flip on Tychus, Virtuoso on Johanna, Renoris on Deckard Cain, and Odin on Malthael.
And in the red, we have Mikhail on Leoric, Alexstrasza played by Zoo, Justice playing Gul'dan, Tiddly He on Diablo, and Pyromaniac 1 on Phoenix.
So here is the, oh, Justice is in trouble, locked in by the Scroll of Sealing, and very early. And I mean very early in the form of 29 seconds, First Blood going over to Archetype. Gul'dan definitely stepped a little bit too far forward there, and that was all she wrote.
Yeah, he's going to have to really be cautious with his positioning. As we see Diablo Shadow charge in, there's a good Deckard combo. Gonna get some chunk damage on Diablo. There's a good concussion mine onto Diablo. He should be okay, but most of his HP is gone.
I mean, early, Diablo is kind of known for just being so burly, so hard to bring down, and such a bully. But that's not the case early game. He has to build up his souls. He's actually pretty vulnerable without them. I call it the Mongoose death, which is every time I play Diablo, it's like guaranteed I will have a cheap death 90 seconds into the game. But yeah, I'm Diablo, and I'm kind of weak sauce right now.
Yeah, 0 souls on Diablo feels pretty bad. His effective HP is really, really low. Malthael and Leoric, not a lot going on up there. Just kind of soaking waves.
I mentioned
Full
it.
HP bars.
Yeah, I mentioned it with the Diablo going into Tychus and Deckard crowd control as Malthael sitting in this bush rotating away after taking top. But now Tiddly, he even more to worry about with that concussion mine. He's got to be really careful when he decides to shadow charge in, especially deep. There's going to be a Scroll of Sealing behind him. There's going to be a Herodric Cube behind him. There's going to be a concussion mine waiting for him. And now Archetype with the aggressive invade. And Blasting Burros hasn't sniffed this out yet. They don't even know.
This looks totally free. So good play from Archetype here.
Blasting Burros showed in the mid lane to clear out the first camp. Once they did, good decisive rotation. You had the Bear Trap and the concussion mine from Junkrat to zone away any kind of rotation, but it wasn't even needed. They burned it so fast. Blasting Burros really had no chance to contest. And early soak advantage to Archetype in a big way.
Yeah, I've really liked what I've seen from Archetype in terms of controlling vision as well. They don't show when they don't need to. Super Flip and Renoris actually went all the way around that minion wave just to make sure they weren't seen approaching that bottom camp, which they have now captured.
And that's something that if teams want to improve on, that's one of the kind of not obvious, subtle ways that you can do it, by manipulating the vision. If the other team doesn't know where you're at, that means you could be anywhere. Just
it's so huge.
Yeah, taking those little extra couple steps to stay out of vision, stay out of the minion waves, not let them knowing where you're going. And the good teams do that.
Yeah, we're going to have this Cosmic Cramp pushing uncontested on bottom, so we'll see how much value it gets. Level 7 is approaching as well.
Definitely an early macro advantage for Archetype. They've gotten 3 Merc camps to none. They have free push in the bottom lane. Tychus and Phoenix dueling in the bottom, while everyone else brawls all over the objective. Diablo Shadow charges in deep onto Malthael. There goes the Johanna with the triple condemned, zoned away by Scroll of Sealing. Blasting Burros in trouble. Abundance not quite enough to save Phoenix. And this is going south quickly for Burros. Gul'dan goes down as well. Tychus now at 2 for 1. Possibly soon to be 3 with Alex Strauss. And now 4. I don't know if Diablo's getting out of this either, Famous.
Yeah, no, for sure. With the early back. Make sure he gets that mana up. Yeah, for me, that was totally virtuoso there. Blasting Burros committed everything into that top part of the shrine, but weren't able to get the dragon queen off because of Johanna's Condemn interrupted that. So they were kind of caught out of position thinking they would have had that dragon to push them off the point.
Yeah, I would say Renoris in the early going here. All of the Herodric Cubes, the Scroll of Sealing, all of that area of effect CC has been hugely effective, really well placed.
Absolutely, and he's got that emerald to deny healing from this abundance build out of Alex Raza. So, pretty key. We do have Malthael and Leoric double soaking. Malthael did go for on a pale horse, so he'll be able to move around the map a little bit more efficiently.
So early game, Archetype showing why they're the #1 seed. 5 minutes in, a full level lead, 5 kills to 1. Soon to be 4 Merc camps to none.
Yeah.
Really controlling the game.
So far, they're out team fighting and out macroing, so looking pretty good from them. They're going to steal another camp here. 3-10, however, if this gets sniffed out, this would be a good fight for Blasting Burros.
Yeah, they are split though. Leoric on one side, while all members of Archetype are here and present in the same area. Diablo gets caught in the bear trap. He does shadow charge in on the Junkrat, then flips him. All members of both team are here. Confession Mine able to secure the Causer camp, and now Phoenix in trouble, able to teleport away. Archetype does secure the siege camp and limps away to safety, getting very close to heroics.
There we see Leoric Malthael go back to top, and 4-man in the bottom. Gonna take that bottom caster camp likely. Just interrupt the back on Diablo.
I hate to keep pointing this out, but 6 minutes in, that is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th mercenary camp that Archetype has picked up in 6 minutes. While Blasting Burros have been so busy chasing them all over the map, they have gotten none in response. Not a single one, although Johanna might be in... No, they're going to get the front wall to get her out.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's not like they're lacking in wave clear either. It's just macro decisions, honestly. They have a cool dance. It's not like they're being pushed into their lanes. Malthael is getting to move freely between top and mid because he's out-dueling the Leoric.
And an off-camera kill as Malthael picks up the mid lane kill onto the Phoenix. Level 10s here for both sides. We have Riptire for Junkrat, Blessed Shield for Johanna, Commandeer Odin for Tychus, Last Rites for Malthael, and Lornado for Deckard Cain. We'll talk about Blasting Burros in a moment, as once again, Archetype going in on the mercenaries. They're claiming all of these. Blasting Burros contesting again. Lornado able to almost secure it. There goes the lightning breath. We're going to see Salvo here in a moment. I would imagine there it goes. Both sides going all out for this, but Alexstrasza falls first. A huge fear. Neither side able to contest it. Virtuoso trying to hold strong, limps away, but not able to get out alive. 2 for 1 in favor of Archetype, and they get the camp.
Yeah. 2 for 1. That's a pretty good deal.
And it looked like for a minute there in the middle of that Blasting Burros might finally get the better of them there, but not quite. It was close.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Rhaenyra's actually hit an Emerald to prevent the Lifebinder healing onto Alexstrasza, whose HP was falling drastically low. So I think that was probably nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that's when it gets clustered up like that and everybody's pressing their buttons at the same time, sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell exactly what's happening, you know?
Yeah.
But Uncontested Mortar Punisher going over to Archetype in this game has Archetype written all over it.
Yeah, they are approaching level 13, this tower, and then maybe 1 or 2 more minion waves will give that over to them.
Leo's in the top lane, soaking for Blasting Burros. Here comes the Lornado
nice,
out.
Lornado.
Dan is donezo. Malthael was soaking in the bottom, but now he's rotating up. Archetype are going to get this fort, and they're looking for more.
It should be a keep wall as well with that kill.
And Leoric forced to stay in that off lane because they need to get closer to the same talent here.
Yeah, they're going to really have to play around the Fortifies, I think, in the late parts of the game to really be able to come back.
Once again, on the Merc camps for Archetype, this will be their 8th without a single going over to Blasting Burros. I don't think I've ever seen that before. 8 unanswered Merc camps? That's unreal.
Pretty ridiculous. They finish the shrine, immediately go to that right Causer camp, then down to the bottom, then over to the left one. This is a 5v4 on the side of the map. So the Oracle move mid. So 4v4 if they do sniff it out, which they won't in time.
But I mean, look at the map. With On a Pale Horse, Malthael's putting pressure all over the place. Leoric is not able to keep up with it. You combine that with 9 unanswered Merc camps, crisp, confident, aggressive rotations by Archetype, and the level deficit, and Blasting Burros just seems like they need to be in 2 to 3 places at the same time, and they just can't.
Yeah, Odin's macro is actually just going to take out that top fort. It's been putting so much pressure from proxying waves onto it.
And I love what Archetype is doing here. They're just kind of holding Blasting Burros here, knowing they have the advantage everywhere else, and as soon as they have numbers, then they go in on the fort. They just held the Burros there for so long, protected the Merc camps, and just waited for the slow push.
Yeah, this is pretty impressive. We can see why they are top in the West.
And you know, Blasting Burros definitely getting bullied here a little bit, but they're a really good team. And it makes it all the more impressive, actually, what Archetype is doing this game is who they're doing it against, because Blasting Burros is no joke.
Yeah, 11 and a half minutes in, and we only have 12 stacks from Echo Corruption on Gul'dan. Just shows how short these team fights have been.
And this will be the 11th unanswered mercenary camp for Archetype.
Looks like they're going to go for
They're going to contest. This is a great move. They're neither side's at 16. They want this same talent tier fight. There goes the Entomb onto the backside. Tornado keeping Blasting Burros away. Scroll of Sealing only catching 1. Odin is popped on the back, and both sides making a stand here.
Yeah, Diablo just getting shot. There's the Lifeminder. Decker down, Diablo's down. Or almost down.
And that Lifebinder did keep Diablo up, but he did also have last rites on him. So as soon as that health popped, it was just immediately melted away. Tiddly, he just trying to buy some time. Gul'dan goes down toward the middle. Blasting Burros, man, it was this right decision. They had to contest that. That was the last time they were going to be same talent tier for a long time. So they had to take that fight. But losing that 3 unanswered to 0, Diablo is back due to his souls.
Yeah, they were actually unable to use Horrify, Lightning Breath, or Purification Salvo in that fight.
There's so many interrupts.
Yeah, to get that salvo combo off. There's a really nice Entomb from Mike Allen, though.
But it was Norris once again on that Decker Kane. I can almost make a strong argument for Norris being MVP this game. Everything he's done has just been money.
Renoris or Odin, who's just been playing the macro side so well.
Yeah, but where he's the solo laner, so we don't pay attention to him in the cam.
That's right, that's right.
He only exists when he's on the cam.
But he's kind of a cooler one, because he's a melee assassin. Give him a little bit extra points.
So, newsflash, a mercenary camp has been secured for Blasting Burros. Now 12-1 mercenary camps as John Cena and the members of Archetype lay siege to the bottom keep.
Yeah, Diablo is soulless, so he really can't step up even if they wanted to. And down is another talent tier. This should be another keep, or should be the first keep of the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Leoric needs to back to defend this, even though they do need the soak. And Michael agrees with me. He has arrived. John Cena is here. Dives onto Diablo. Dragon Queen is popped. Archetype patiently waiting out Zhao's Dragon Queen, which will expire now. But this bottom keep is going down fast.
Fortunately, they do have that Shaman camp in top lane, so they're going to get a fort, which will open up a potential win, I should say win condition, but keep condition to get them kind of back into the game.
And a little closer to 16, because and that's what Burros is looking for now. They want to get 16 and then try to take a fight at 16, 18, 19, somewhere in there, and catch Archetype before they get to 20.
Absolutely. With this mid-wave, I'd like to see them capture that and then look for a gank somewhere around the opponent's Shaman camp as they respond to their own Shaman. So Malthael will be there alone for the moment, but the rest of the team will follow. They're going to look for an invade here.
And for anybody keeping track at home, 14 mercenary camps to 1.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. And there isn't even an Illidan or a Samuro. It's just good rotations.
Yep, and look at what Archetype's doing here. They know the 16-18 is here. And they're just having a little camp out in their own base. Diablo does catch Junkrat, Concussion Mine for some self-peeling there, as well as a Tornado. Super Flip putting some damage on the Tychus, but gets caught in a big entomb. There's the Lightning Breath. There's a huge Horrify Purification Salvo going out as well, but it's actually Michaelin who goes down. Somehow Tychus is able to walk away. He does pop Commandeer Odin. Rag is very low, but Phoenix is even lower. Tiddly He in trouble, as are the Blasting Burros.
Yeah, Odin with a good flank here to take down Tiddly He. Justice just needs to run. He's going to die if that Reaper March gets on him. Yeah, and there goes Justice. Tiddly He's going to fall. They can actually dive behind this fort.
I think they're going to rotate bottom and put this game away.
Oh, jeez, yeah, 16 minutes in. That'll be close.
It's a long walk, but they do already have the Merc camps there, or maybe they're just going to get mid-keep. Let's see what they just... No, they're going for the Jugular.
Yeah, Phoenix is up in 3. He does still have Salvo.
Oh, look at the Concussion Mine and On a Pale Horse. Odin and Rag getting here fast. Shield's already down from the catapults, down to 80% here. Members of Archetype now arriving here in force. 10 seconds till Blasting Burros is up as a team, but I don't think it's going to be enough. 30. 20.
That's all she wrote, Mongoose.
10, 5, game 1 in absolutely commanding fashion.
I haven't seen a game like that in a long time.
To
That
Archetype.
was incredibly dominant. And as you said, Blasting Burros is not a bad team.
No. I'm a little bit at a loss for words, to be honest. Like I said, coming in, I know both these teams pretty well. Blasting Burros more from a distance from casting them so many times, and I do know some of the guys on Archetype a little bit. In my opinion, from what I know of these teams, the distance between these teams is not what you saw in that game. But Archetype put on a clinic. Final count, 14-1 in Merc camp. That's unbelievable to have that much control over the battleground for the entire duration of the game.
Yeah, it's pretty unheard of. And I'd like to point out just the amount of interrupts Virtuoso had onto Pyromaniac's Purification Salvos. Those really solidify a lot of fights as well. So just the interrupts from Johanna and then Deckard Cain preventing healing from Alex Straza. Those two players made huge, huge plays. And then Odin just prepping waves, pressuring the rest of the map, while the rest of his team could just move around his forward, capturing those Merc camps. It was just really, really good play.
Now that was really impressive. Really impressive game. So game 2 now, we're going to have to go ahead and reach out to Blasting Burros, see if they want to go map pick or first pick here for game 2. If you are Blasting Burros, what do you say after a game like that? What are the teams saying to one another? What do you want to change? Want map pick, first pick? What do you think, Famous?
I don't know. I was trying to think about that as the game was ending there, because I don't think draft at all was an issue for them. They had a very powerful draft, really well suited to the map. I think it just came down to execution. It's pretty clear that Archetype has a really good understanding of macro. So maybe you want to take maps and then take them to a team fight heavy battleground, maybe like a Battlefield of Eternity or something like that, so that you can kind of force the issue a little bit more. And I'd really like them to be the one engaging more often than not. They did end up getting an entomb, but the team was never really together to set up after that. It was kind of staggered in, which gave them opportunities to Archetype to kind of interrupt the attack with that Johanna.
And even when they did get the really nice engages, I'm thinking specifically of 2/3 of the way through that game, they finally found that 16-18 fight that they wanted. They finally got the target that they wanted, Tychus, in the entomb. They hit the Drain Hope on him. They got the fear after the entomb was about to end. They got pretty much everything on him, and it didn't really matter. He walked away. He had about half health when they finally got out of that whole mess.
Yeah, I think it was honestly just came down to the salvo just wasn't able to get off in that situation. That was going to finish off the Tychus and really put a lot of damage on the rest of the team. There was a really good choke point for the Diablo's Lightning Breath to get a lot of work done. They just weren't able to finish the kill.
So I have heard from Michaelin and Blasting Burros. They have decided to go the other direction. They're going to Dragonshire for game 2.
Okay.
Maybe it is, I think, certainly macro intensive, but a different kind of macro than Infernal Shrines, more and point control as the kind of fixed objectives that you have on Shrines. So what's the adjustment that you make going from Shrines to kind of a different style on Dragonshire?
Yeah, less. I don't know. I mean, their draft, you could almost copy pasta onto Dragonshire. Alex Straza is a little bit less valuable, obviously, because kind of less of that AoE fighting. But Leoric is pretty strong as well on Dragonshire, because you can kind of end up pushing that bottom lane really, really effectively than having Leoric in the late game kind of soak both top and mid. He's also very safe on that objective. He's really hard to gank, but things like Urel might rise in priority. She's just really, really strong, but she did receive a nerf today as well. So we'll see how that plays out. I wouldn't be opposed to something a little bit more out there in terms of draft either. Like if they have a Medivh player or a solid Abathur draft, those could both work out pretty well on Dragonshire. Maybe a Samuro or something like that.
And if you do have that that sleeper pocket strat, that kind of weirdo thing that you're going to try in a game, this is the game to do it. After that game 1, this is the time. Whip out the pocket strats if you got them.
Yeah, I'm really looking for some kind of X factor in the draft. Those three, I wouldn't even say that any of those 3 draft types are really like that cheesy or anything. They're just really, really powerful and kind of difficult to run. Sergeant Hammer is another option as well. I think she's pretty effective on that bot lane again in Dragonshire.
Yeah, she was kind of the hotness for a little while with how much you were seeing her in the HGC, and she's kind of fallen out of that for whatever reason, not as sexy as she used to be, but I think it's just kind of the ebbs and flows of the games. I don't think she's any less powerful than she was, say, a month or 6 weeks ago when she was all over the place. It's just, teams want to try new things, do not see the same hero all of the time, but I don't think she's any less powerful than she was then.
She did get a couple of little nerfs to siege tactics, I believe. So if you not dismount, but unsiege while proccing siege tactics, you don't remain unstoppable.
Oh, that's right.
So I think it's a little bit more difficult to use, but just as effective. I think you should just remain in siege tactics for the duration of the unstoppable, and then just zed away anyways. It's kind of just cycling those 2 abilities a little bit more effective. She became more difficult to play, but I think she is just as powerful. Okay. What about you? What do you think? How do you think they should address the draft? Excuse me.
From what I remember of Blasting Burros, that seemed like their comfort pick, their bread and butter picks, if you will. Strong overlay, especially Leoric. They really go to the Leoric. And it was a pretty one-sided affair. I don't know if that was just, even good teams have bad games.
Yeah.
You can have 2 evenly matched teams have a lopsided game that happens. I think I would like to see them go some kind of double global if they can get their hands on it. Brightwing is in a good spot right now. Maybe like a Dahaka Brightwing.
Brightwing is banned on Dragonshire.
Oh, so. She's right. Thank you for reminding me. Let me remind them too.
I actually don't have chat for whatever reason, so I'll leave that to you.
Thank you for reminding me. I even reminded the team captains in the coin flip, and then I totally forgot right now.
But that would have been a good pick, honestly. She's, I think, really, really strong. And she did get buffed today, too, which I thought was kind of odd.
But I would still like to see the Dahaka.
Yeah, Dahaka is very powerful in Dragon Shrine. Or Dragonshire, excuse me. I would have liked to seen maybe a Johanna ban as well. It's something that Archetype plays a lot. I think it's their most played hero. But I think they should ban the Asmodan because it is one of their better heroes as well, and kind of difficult to play against, and pretty strong on Dragonshire as well.
Kerrigan both up though. Which one you gonna ban?
Ooh, I don't know. I think I would roll the dice with Kerrigan getting nerfed today, honestly. And I don't think I've seen any Kerrigan from Archetype this season. But they will ban out the Kerrigan.
I do not want to see that Kerrigan.
Makes sense. She is pretty strong and pretty frustrating to play against.
You're right. Right onto the Johanna.
Yeah, and if they don't take away Deckard here, that'll be picked up as well in the next round. It's by far their most played support.
And after game 1?
Exactly.
Why?
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, they play it incredibly well. There's a white main.
Dahaka.
Yeah, so I do expect that Deckard, but there's the Dahaka you were talking about.
There's the Deckard you were talking about.
I'm not sure what this pick will be. Maybe that Junkrat again was played very well.
Maybe.
Pretty strong on Dragon
They can pretty much just lift out their draft from game 1, put it in game 2, and it would be just fine. And there you go.
So far.
The Malthael. Pretty much, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Coming out for Archetype. And we have the Twitch chat suggesting Juice Pirates as a response to that game 1 from Blasting Burros, the old metabacterial.
Fair. I would like to see maybe more emphasis on the top lane. So maybe someone to gank that Malthael who is a little bit squishier than the other offlaners. So there's Junkrat ban. That's reasonable. I like that.
We will not see the exact same team from Archetype here in game.
That was Tychus. I was trying to remember what the other pick was. Yeah, that was also played very well. But with no Diablo, I doubt we'll see the Tychus here. Also, just not Infernal Shrines, extra value on the point with that Odin.
Archetype really took their time on that ban. They were thinking about it, but right back to the Genji. Just do not want to see the Genji.
I really like that ban too. Just as I said before, that Malthael is a little bit more vulnerable to gank. There's a Zool. I wonder if this will be that solo tank Zool.
Now,
sorry.
I will say that if you run it properly, my team actually, late in the season when we were kind of out of it and struggling to find ourselves, we ran the tank Zool comp without practicing it, and it was really strong. If we would have practiced it against a team that bodied us in the first game, and we came very close to beating them the next game, kind of similar to this. So I'm curious if they're actually going to run the tank Zool here. That would be fascinating. Usually you see
yeah, you can get away with an Uther here too, as I believe. Vol is going to need some extra healing as well, so I do expect that to be another support. Raynor Zeratul. Okay.
All right.
I like that. Zeratul's a good mid laner, can kind of soak safely, and then gank up top as well. Raynor's good response into Vala. Kind of trades pretty well into her. And what will it be? Any predictions?
I mean, I think you're going to go hyper carry Vala, right? So that's another support. And it's the Uther. So we said Blasting Burros to switch it up. If you got a pocket strat, now's the time.
Looks like it.
There you go. You have the global and the Dahaka. Something I suggested. The pocket strat hyper carries Zool tank Vala hyper carry. And I will say though, with a white main and a white main and an Uther, I should say, Vala's going to be tough to bring down. The other thing I like about the Uther actually is the point and click stun with the Zeratul going into back.
Yeah, that's going to come in huge, especially Benediction. Uther and Vala should be able to just one-shot Zeratul.
Stun again.
Yeah. I would have really liked the Blasting Burros draft if they had found a way to remove that Johanna. But it's going to really patch up the wave clear issues that, that Archetype is would have had with their draft. So I don't know. I'm not sold. What do you think? What's the stronger draft here?
I mean, on paper,
prepare for combat.
Usually I think you're going to lean toward the more traditional draft that Archetype had. But the main tank Zool thing became a thing because it was effective. Because of who's running it?
Octalysis.
Thank you,
Justin.
Octalysis.
Battle
Yeah,
commencing
Justine.
in
And
10
they kind
seconds.
of basically, just by the way that they were playing with these funky
4,
comps built around
3,
dual takes, completely
2,
changed the NA meta
1.
with it. So I'm curious to see how it goes, but I would tend to favor Archetype with the traditional composition that they have here, but that's what other people thought too when this first came out. So let's see how it goes. We have Virtuoso on Johanna, Ragnarok on Raynor, Super Flip on Zeratul, Renoris back on Deckard Cain, and Odin back on Malphite.
Yeah, Mycelian will be on Dahaka, Pyromaniac will be on that Vala, which is chunking on the Ragnarok right now. Good knockback from him, keep himself alive. Tiddly He on Zool, Zhao on Whitemane, Justice on Uther. So they will have an excellent 4-man rotation. Just pushing waves in. But with the ammo being removed in the game, it's not quite as effective strategy as it used to be.
No, but with the wave clear, I mean, look at this rotation. It's crisp and strong by Blasting Burros, showing no ill effect for that game 1. And I do not think, Famous, we're going to see 14 unanswered merc camps here this game.
I think you're probably right. But they are starting their first siege giant camp as Ragnarok moves towards those.
So, early game, it's, a minute into the game, so you only take what you can out of this, but the situation is reversed here. Invasion coming out from Blasting Burros. Yazul has already used his shield. The root goes on to Deckard Cain. The cleaving attacks going on to him. Pyromantic vaults in aggressively for the bonus damage on that auto attack and able to secure first blood. And a complete change in how this game feels from game 1 in the early going by Blasting Burros. Maybe they just made him mad.
Yeah, no kidding. This looks clean. I like this a lot. Their plays improved drastically from game to game.
Now top lane is gonna be won by Malphite. Kind of see it. We'll flash up there in a minute. But the 4-man is winning handily for Blasting Burros, and they have a Dahaka who can get down here whenever they need to. And if I'm a team captain and you ask me, would you rather win the 4-man or the solo lane? I think I'd rather win the 4-man.
Yeah, typically that would be the logical decision.
And
sorry, go ahead.
2 unanswered merc camps for Blasting Burros.
Complete change from game to game. Azul picked up Shackler on level 1 and not the bone exploding talent on 1, which is the go-to usually.
Yeah.
It'll be different to see how that plays out. A little bit more CC, but less burst damage from the tool.
Yeah, but I mean, other than the Johanna, they don't really have like a big beef front line where you're gonna really chunk them out with that. So maybe changing it up for the extra soft CC. But look at this 3-man, this hyper carry Vala, basically just staying in this bottom lane. This is actually, I'm gonna pull this one out of nowhere, very similar to what Divine 9 ran in the B West Grand Finals. Except for they ran it on Brax's holdout. They put like a Vala Lili in the top lane and just let Vala go crazy down there. And that's a similar thought process that Blasting Burros is in. They're just leaving Vala down here, letting her do a bunch of damage. Some
rotation from Zeratul. Yeah, I was gonna say Vala is really effective in the double support style. She just really needs a little bit more effective HP to do her job. But when she's able to do her job, she does her job like nobody's business.
But Dahaka, actually, he took this top shrine, and he's bullying Malthael, Zool, and Zeratul, battling in the mid lane, while the 3 stacks from each side just continue. It's like perma-brawl here in the bottom lane. They just cannot bring Vala down no matter what they do. Root coming down from Zool, Ragnarok in trouble, running to his own side, but Pyromantic able to secure another kill. I think the only thing that's going to stop Vala right now is a man.
Yeah, seems to be a similar issue for Odin up top, whose mana has been completely depleted, and Mycelian's getting the better of him now.
We do have a little bit of a lag.
3-2-3?
Pause here. But early in this game, it was 4-man rotate, but Blasting Burros actually kind of got away from that. They're letting Duel fight Zeratul in the mid lane. Zeratul cannot keep wave clear, assuming he doesn't get caught and bursted down. And then in the double support with the Vala, they're not being able to deal with that in the bottom too. So what adjustments you make? What are you saying if you're Archetype? Kind of probably caught off guard a little bit, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think I would try and get Virtuoso to move a little bit more to the mid lane to help Zeratul clear, so that Zeratul can kind of gank up top, so you can at least get advantage on one side of the map. Also, if they can spare the time to get Zeratul in the top lane to hold for Malthael and have him do the Night Camp up top to get some pressure building there. But I think they're gonna lose handedly this bottom lane if they don't make any adjustments.
All right, so it looks like both teams are ready. Go.
We have Zool Uther rotating to mid lane to try and make a play for the Dragon Knight. Just going to clear the wave and then try and channel with Uther. Vala Whitemane is holding this bottom shrine fairly effectively.
They got it.
There you go. Winning on all fronts here.
So, to play devil's advocate, if you're Archetype here, looking at these comps, Famous, can you play the long game? Do they scale harder?
I don't think so.
I mean,
Zeratul level 16
right,
is going to be a huge boost, and VP will also be a pretty important factor. But double support traditionally gets very, very powerful the later the game goes. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Zeratul definitely, but the rest of the team, I'm not so sure.
And you know, that Zeratul gets onto Vala, let's say, assuming Uther goes Divine Shield, they just kind of always have that OS button, get out of jail free card.
OS, yeah. Well, good operating system there. Yeah, they will have Void Prism to potentially get an isolation onto a squishier character like the Vala or maybe the Whitemane to get a kill like that. But they don't really have any Wombo combo to follow the Void Prism up after.
The only thing they can maybe, you lock them in with the Scroll of Sealing and hold them there.
True.
But that's really about it. There's not like some big AoE damage, no blizzard you're going to drop on them, or a aim strike, nothing like that coming out of Archetype.
Yeah, and this fort is going to go down here momentarily, which is going to give them 10. I'd like to see Archetype just back off here. Blessed Shield's going to be available. Or, excuse me, Blessed Shield's not going to be available. That's the wrong team. They're okay. Rain of Vengeance could have been locked down.
So isolation for Dahaka, the aforementioned Rain of Vengeance, as Dahaka actually gets Zeratul on the top and then
2v1.
walks away.
The accidental heart thing coming up from Odin there.
Scarlet Aegis for Whitemane. Ragnarok is in trouble. There's the Skeletal Mages for Zool, and it is going to be Divine Shield for Uther. The siege continues, but Tiddly, he might have overstayed his welcome. Luckily, he has two healers to keep them up. Blessed Shield going out, but no follow-up there. Blasting Burros going to walk away.
Yeah, just got a free tower from that, so not bad. I thought he was going down, but doesn't look like it. Didn't have to spend the D shield either.
Power gathers within the shrines. Unleash
Looks like
the
an
dragon's
invade
wrath.
onto this bottom camp. However, Dahaka Tiddly
He did pop the shield and ran. He turned very quickly.
Yeah, that's kind of the issue with this composition. They don't really have that traditional tank who can kind of face check bushes.
No. Uther's almost the best one for it, honestly.
Probably, actually, yeah. Alright, so bottom Night Camp will go over to Archetype, so pretty big win from them there. See what value they can get out of that.
Dahaka double soaking mid-top, trying to get more of a level advantage. Malthael has returned and trying to counter Dahaka in that regard. Lornado does go out to isolate Tiddly. He's in trouble. Condemn not able to land.
Did see the Rainer's Raider go dead in that skirmish, so that won't be available for 40 seconds.
He wants that bone to let prisons to land on somebody.
Ooh,
so
there's the Doggo Burrow. Ragnarok in trouble. Good VP.
Heals. Good VP.
Disengage. Mind you, that's a... I don't know if that's a good trade or not. Super Flip can backdoor this shrine, and they can cap with Malthael.
And that's what they're doing. Blasting Burrows might be rotating away. It's going to be close. Pyromantic still going ham on the backside here. Blasting Burros did sniff that out and reacted accordingly. If you're Blasting Burros, though, I think you're okay with Zeratul being forced to use VP for disengagements and defensive tools there.
Absolutely. They did have to spend the Burrow, which I think might have been the biggest cooldown. There's a good root. Oh, he's going to go down. He's going to pop last rights, but not going to do much. You got to be careful here. They still have D-Shield, which has not been used yet, which means there hasn't actually been any good kill pressure in the game as of yet.
Rain on the backside, a little isolated there, trying to flank, and then thought better of it and backed up.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little ambitious for my taste.
Especially down a man and a talent tier. That would have been impressive if he pulled something off there.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with a global available. Johanna trying to soak up this mid lane against Zool. Uther trying to channel, should be interrupted.
Zeratul lives in the top, squaring off against Ahaka, trying to check in on all of these engagements here. I'll tell you, as a caster / observer, I think Dragonshire might be one of the hardest battlegrounds to.
Yeah, you got to get into the co-casting. It's great. You kind of don't have to worry about any of that. You just talk as much as you want.
I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping for that tonight because one of the other casters was talking about picking it up. I was like, yeah, man, do it. I'll co-cast with you. And then he's like, oh, I can't make it. I was like, oh, I got to set everything up now. Rip.
Maybe next season I'll have the technology.
Technology's not there yet.
No. Blessed Shield comes out as well as last rights. No kill. Dahaka digs on the backside. Maltail in big trouble. Orneo's going to push them out. Scarlet Age is keeping everybody alive. There's a camp invade as well. That's going to be captured. 1 kill is none.
I mean, they're sinking so much into trying to get Vala, and it's just never effective.
That's the 3 kill. Does this keep?
Are these the same 2 teams from game 1?
Yeah, this is completely flipping the script.
7 unanswered kills, all the macro, all the pressure for Blasting Burros. I said it between the games. The difference between these 2 teams is not what we saw game 1. And Blasting Burros showing that for sure.
Yeah, this is double support must be their playstyle because this looks clean.
I mean, if you're assuming nothing crazy happens this game and Blasting Burros forces the game 3, do you ban Zool?
Depends on the map, but probably. Yeah, I think so. Or you... No, I think you ban Zool. As they catch out Zeratul, who burns VP and is still gonna die, I believe.
Oh, 15! He was at 15. No, there you go. He can't get away from this, can he?
He's a Dark Templar, you never know.
No, there he is.
He's dead. So yeah, burned VP and died, so not good.
Yeah, just didn't quite get the white main in there.
No. But actually, I don't even, what's her W called? The laser beam there.
You know, I don't think I know because player.
Nor do I. So the laser beam got her.
The healing laser beam.
Yep.
Twitch chat, help us out in 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes. Odin, Michael, and we'll duel up on top. And Dahak is actually winning that. Lands the drag. I think this is a kill.
I assume he has. Oh, there's the isolation.
Oh, self
cleanse. Is it gonna matter? He's gonna get the brush stalker movement.
Oh, it's gonna be tight.
It's gonna be
self healing. There's the kill. I did not know you could cleanse once isolated. That's
I didn't think
wild.
you could either. Michaelin flexing there. In the meantime, we have a big engagement mid.
Ooh.
Huge scroll of ceiling, but look at the health bars on Burros. It didn't matter. It just didn't matter.
D-Shield comes out on Davala. Scarlet Age just keeps everybody alive. They just don't have the resources to get through this. They have to land a money VP to win the game.
Yeah, they don't have the raw damage to burn through double support. It's just not there.
No, they need to isolate 100%. Then they didn't go Emerald this game on Deckard Cain, so that anti-healing isn't there.
That's a little surprising. I would think in a double support that would almost be a must pick.
And it worked out so well last game.
Yeah,
I'm shocked it's not here. So they're going to settle for trying to get a second keep, but they are doing a lot of work on this Dragon Knight, already at half HP.
I actually like that call from Blasting Burros here. If they can actually get a second keep, with the macro pressure they've had on the map the whole game, it's basically going to keep somebody permanently back in the base for the side of Archetype.
Dahak is actually going to get that top fort, so it's going to... Ooh, Burrows.
Waiting patiently, still 20 seconds left on this. Lornado doesn't hit, neither does Scroll of Sealing. Now the minion wave coming in to aid in the seat.
Zeratul has all the while been soaking bottom, trying to get this closer to that level 16, but there is still about a quarter level until he can do that. Looking now to soak mid. Or looking for a big flank now as he sharks around. He's got that Void Prism available.
They want 16 bad. They're gonna watch Archetype. They're gonna get aggressive here at 16, famous. 16, and then the flip is gonna be switched. They're gonna try to find something similar to what Blasting Burros did last game.
Yeah, Tiddly, he's actually invading.
And this is it right here.
Blink into VP. There's a cleave. Blessed shield. There's the VP.
There's the
Zool's
isolation
isolated.
they needed. They do get Zool trading for Raynor, but Decker goes down as well.
Oh, huge Rain of Vengeance. Two of them there. Malthael might escape. Not so lucky is Zeratul. The Siege Giant's pushing with 3 catapults.
This should be it. This should really be it.
Yeah.
I thought that looked good for Archetype. They got the VP isolation onto the Zool like you were talking about. They got the kill on the Zool.
Michael just had a good dig and cleaned up the Raynor as well as the Haka, or excuse me, the Decker game.
Well, I said it was going to be a close series. I said
I'm excited for Game 3.
And while that is true, it is a close series. 2 not close games. Assuming Blasting Bros finishes this, which they might not. Though they do have Giants and Katas in the bottom. They just need to.
They need some more core here.
They're waiting for the wave coming in bottom. That's going to do it. 3 Katas have locked on the core, and there you go. Game 2. Wow. Going over to Blasting Burros in a complete change. I mean, whew. Those look like 2 totally different teams.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. This is going to be quite the Game 3. Now, if you're Archetype,
you ban Zool.
Yeah, you ban Zool. Do you maybe pick a map that's even more macro focused, like a Cursed Hollow or a Sky Temple or something like that? Some of those bigger outmaneuverable type maps.
I think the answer is you just pick the map you think you're best on.
Okay, fair. I know that Towers of Doom is their best map, and I believe Infernal is usually their backup.
Towers was banned, fortunately, because the best games are always.
Especially final games of the series. Yeah. But I don't know what their third map priority is. So have to wait and see. They might opt for first pick, of course.
They have not. They just told me they are going map.
Okay.
They haven't told me which one yet.
Yeah, so double support. I hope they just run that again. Even without the Zool, it can still be really, really effective. I think you said Pyromantic? Yeah.
Pyromantic.
It's not
Pyromaniac. You know, I've casted these guys so many times. I actually asked them how to pronounce their names because I wanted to get it right. So it's Michael Lin, Zhao, like WoW, but with a Z, Zhao, and Pyromantic.
Okay. So yeah, Pyromantic played really, really well, and I think Zhao did as well. And then I'd like to see them just run another double support, but we are going to go to Battlefield of Eternity.
We are. So I think maybe you still ban the Zool, although this makes that, I think, a little less necessary, but do you do it anyway just so you don't see that whole mess again?
I'd be really surprised to see a Zool, but we might still see double support.
Right.
So I don't know. I would have said before ban out Urel because she tends to complement that style of double support really well, just That's adding the extra armor. But she did get nerfed today and lost 10% on that armor buff.
So 35 to 25, is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, 25 armor is still
it's
nothing
incredible.
to scoff at, yeah.
Yeah. But Urel actually hasn't had any focus at all today, so probably not going to see that.
Made it through both of these drafts completely untouched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not really sure how this draft, honestly. I'm gonna say Samuro again, who I've just fallen in love with in the HGC recently. So he's really strong on BOE. I don't know if any of these teams have been practicing the Blade Master, but I mean, pocket pick.
A dominant game 1 for Archetype.
Mm-hmm.
A dominant game 2, Blasting Burros. And then we go to Battlefield of Eternity. The probably team fightiest
I think
Battlefield in the game. I think fireworks. This game
It's
really
gonna be
should be
wild.
fireworks.
Yeah,
And both game 1 and game 2, regardless of which way the games went, both of these teams showed zero hesitation about fighting the other.
for sure. These guys like to brawl, usually around rotations, but here it'll be around the objective, so should be interesting. Battlefield of Eternity always raises the Hanzo question as kind of the premier racer, as well as poker on Battlefield of Eternity. There's a little area of the 4 rocks between the immortal spawns, which I like to call like the pocket, where Hanzo and Li Ming and Sergeant Hammer can kind of occupy that space, damaging your opponent's immortal, as well as being really, really close to defend your own. It's kind of a really important area of the geography of the map.
Yeah, Battlefield of Eternity makes it significantly more likely that we will Artanis.
True.
Archetype has chosen to first ban Tyrande in both of these games. If you didn't let Tyrande through on Shrines or on Dragonshire, you're not going to let her through on Battlefield of Eternity.
No, she's pretty darn strong here. Lots of small corridors for those lunar flares to hit, as well as follow up from the immortal, and then the hunter's mark on the immortal itself just adds so much racing.
You basically can't outrace a team. Tyrande,
Unless you're Hanzo.
unless maybe. So, unlike the first 2 maps, were large, 3-lane, macro, rotational, Battlefield of Eternity is none of those things. So if we were going to see a different draft and different bans, this is where we're going to see it.
Yep. I always argue for Abathur and Medivh. We haven't seen any interest in either of those today, so we likely won't, but both really effective on BoE.
No more Deckard Cain. They have had enough of the old man.
However, Tyrande will be made available as a result.
Yeah, now yeah.
Assuming there's the Kerrigan ban again.
Yeah.
Mind you,
unless you leave it up, maybe you force Archetype to choose between letting Tyrande or Kerrigan through. Ban neither.
We might end up seeing that Azmodan as a result too. Oh, and Maiev is still available. Oh man, so much to ban.
I mean, they ran Vala on Dragonshire, granted with double support. Kerrigan ban. Vala, probably Battlefield her best map, I would say, to her burn on the immortal. So,
yeah, I think you could argue that for sure. Tyrande ban. Oh, there you go.
All right.
Good ban baiting, I guess, from the Burros.
That Kerrigan ban coming out from Blasting Burros, I don't know this, I'm just speculating, but leads me to believe that they don't have a Kerrigan player themselves. Because I would have really liked to have seen them let both Kerrigan and Tyrande through and make Archetype choose.
True. That'd have been a powerful pick. Whitemane once again, so maybe signaling that double support priority, as well as the Dahaka Tyrande being picked up. So makes sense either way.
I mean, Archetype did let the Zool through. This isn't a map you typically think of for that tankless Zool, but maybe they're kind of daring him to do it again.
Okay, Li Ming Diablo. Yeah, I'd be pretty disinterested in a Zool pickup here if I was the Burros, but maybe they want to really play that one-shot style composition.
And if they don't take it, that was a really good map selection Archetype to ban away that style by choice of Battlefield, as we have Garrosh coming out here for Burros.
A classic Garrosh Diablo matchup should be interesting, and then Malthael will be taken away from Odin this game. The first time this series.
Nice soft denial and a good counter to Dibbles as well. I like that pick.
Absolutely.
And he's also a counter to Garrosh too, so you're actually taking away a
for sure.
counter for your own selection. So I really like that Malthael pick.
So bad on Garrosh when you're at 30 armor and then you get last rights.
So Archetype really taking it down.
Tychus.
They're going to get rid of the Tychus.
Here, maybe that Genji? Remove that double reset composition?
Possibility. Greymane, also kind of a pseudo double reset if you want to go that route. Cursed Bullets, good Garrosh as well.
And also, a lot of race on him.
I was just going to say the same thing, that the race is good, so that's right.
If they're going to go double support, I wouldn't be Ooh.
He's involved. You've been calling for him.
Yay. There you go. He does pair really well with Diablo, so it makes sense. I was gonna say if they were gonna go double support, I've completely lost my train of thought.
I mean,
I wouldn't be that afraid of the Genjis. We're gonna say because you're not really worried about the resets if you are double support.
Especially if you're gonna go double support Uther, point and click stun on the backside really puts a hamper into the Genji. But there he is.
There he is.
Thrall Genji.
Okay.
That's a lot of damage for Archetype there.
Yeah, it is a lot of damage.
I mean, and
Thrall into the Malthael is actually a pretty good matchup for Thrall as well.
And you don't talk about this a lot on Diablo, but for a main tank, Diablo is pretty high damage output for a main tank. It's not something you really take into account too much, but it is certainly a factor.
Yeah, Shadow Charge build by the end of the game is pretty darn damage intensive. Karazim Vala. I wonder if they're gonna go 7-sided for Diablo.
I mean, it makes sense. You have double support. You may not need the palm. It'll really make Diablo think about his life choices. Pyromantic on that Vala was funny. They really made that double support work.
I like this draft a lot coming out from Blasing Burros. Karazim is an excellent support choice on BOE just because of the damage he brings to the race. That Earth Totem is going to get a lot of value onto Thrall as well.
You know, also with a Malthael and a Karazim, Anna selected for Archetype, but with a Malthael and Last Rites and Karazim's ability to chase, Vala actually doesn't need to be the finisher. She can just kind of set up the kill for Last Rites or even for Karazim kind of dashing in, flurry of blows, dashing away kind of a thing. So I really like the draft for both sides.
That Ana sold this draft for me too, though. Geez, I like that a lot. Nano boost on Li Ming or G, just insane with a double reset comp.
Even Thrall.
Diablo's fine too.
Like, pick up who you want.
Yeah, and Ana's just an excellent support choice for Genji, being able to keep up with him with just sniping those heals across into the back fight, as well as anti-healing from her grenade onto a double support composition. Pretty key.
Yeah, Anna, like organized competitive, is one of the few heroes in the game, like Gul'dan, basically has one heroic. Their second one is so completely unviable that it almost may as well not be there. The, what is it, Eye of Horus? It's pretty funsies for quick match, but not so much like this.
There won't be too much threat onto her either. Malthael's not like, excellent at killing Ana super quickly. More of a tank shredder.
Game 3 famous. In a series that we thought would go 3, even though not quite how we thought we would get here. Archetype looking good to go to the A West Finals. Virtuoso on Diablo, Renoris on Ana, Ragnarok on Genji, Super Flip on Li Ming, in the top lane, Odin on Thrall.
And the Blasting Burros in red, making the argument that double support is dominant. It is Michael. You said Michaelian?
Michaelin, like Michael.
Michaelin.
Like on, Michael in the house. Michaelin.
Michael in the house on Malthael. Zhao on White Mane. Tiddly He on Garrosh. Justice on Karazim. Pyromantic on Kala. Interesting to see how the Garrosh Diablo.
Tiddly He there just completely bullied Archetype off of both of those globes there. I don't know if you saw that. And getting both globes in lane is really strong.
Yeah, for sure. I really like that change in Hots 2.0.
I don't like the ammo change though. I think they need to do something with that. But I do like the globe change. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind them going back. Ooh, a nice groundbreaker.
To me, the solution is easy. They change the ammo, according to Blizz, to make more dynamic offlaning, but it's achieved the complete opposite.
Yeah. I
think the easy way to do that is you want to incentivize aggression in the offlane. So you bring the ammo back, maybe you lessen it a little bit, so you deplete it.
Have more shots
faster.
Or something.
Right, and you make it so the ammo starts replenishing sooner. The delay is less, so it incentivizes you to keep on them, and then maybe damage resets the timer on the ammo proccing.
Yeah, like anything to change that full lane right now, I'm kind of in favor. Right now, it's kind of the more tedious part of the game. He's taking a lot of damage. He's dead.
He's down. You know, I didn't even think about it till right now, but the other thing the Ana does in the double support with the Bio Grenade completely negating healing, a well-timed Bio Grenade is going to be money, and Venoris, this whole series, has been well-timed pretty much everything that he's done.
Yeah. Kind of highlighting that before. Ana's an excellent response to double support. Usually because there's a lack of pressure onto the Ana as well, because it's more of a passive team on the other side, as well as just that anti-healing coming on board. We do have that Khazra camp, which has been cleaned up, and now both teams moving towards their Shaman. Karzim's going to start that a little bit later.
Yeah, both that side's probably going to be picking these up close to the same time. Pretty close.
And
in the early game, I think this Immortal race is going to be pretty close, but post 7, it's going to scale over to Vala's side, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to go. It should be pretty close in my mind. He should still, Tiddly should have Undomitable, but Virtuoso waiting it out before the Shadow Charge, but does mess up on his body blocks a little bit, and Tiddly gets away.
I think there was a Sleep Dart missed in there. It just missed on the Tiddly that probably would have.
Yeah, Vala did go Hungering Arrow, so as you said, level 7 will be a big boost for her.
Yeah, if you're playing Vala on BOE, you're going Q build.
Malthael cleaning up that Shaman camp. Thrall now moving to the other one.
And pretty close, but actually Archetype wins halftime. Thrall is showing in the top lane, and that means aggression from Blasting Burros. Virtuoso in trouble. He does get stunned by the Immortal.
Malthael going in.
Michaelin going deep. Diablo still in trouble, finally goes down. He stayed alive longer than I think he had any right to. Ragnaros has to swift strike actually through the entire team to get away to safety.
Yeah, I'd like to see Vala now move towards the Immortal while the rest of the team defends.
Exactly right.
Malthael will move with them, as well as the Karzim. So just Garage and Whitemane for the defense. They may get outraced here.
If you do that, when Archetype knows Vala is on the Immortal, that is the threat. They don't have anything to really be afraid of if they know Vala is on the Immortal. So.
You have to respect Garrosh a little bit around the stun circles from the Immortal, but other than that, really no threat. So,
pretty weak Immortal, picked up by Archetype. They were able to finish that off. Tiddly, he aggressively rotating, actually. Shadow Charge dominated, now he did a lot of damage. Karazim and Whitemane are there to babysit him home to safety, though.
Thrall Malthael will be in that off lane once again. This shouldn't get much more than, I think, just one tower.
Maybe the front row. Pretty close.
Yeah, looks like you're right.
I always feel bad casting, observing, and just completely ignoring full laners. I try to flash down there, but both of these games, the 4-mans have just been like non-stop. There really hasn't been an opportunity to go down there.
Yeah, the big question mark over this top camp now will draw your attention once again.
Yes, it did. Archetype not letting this go, though.
Diablo's got a good angle for a Shadow Charge on Vala, but Genji's taking two more. Oh, he threw Vala in. Wow.
That's faith in your team there.
Yeah, if you're in comms and you're Pyromantic and you didn't ask for that, that'd be pretty jarring.
I hope he at least gave him a common courtesy of, like, you're going in, or Evo, maybe?
Evo. Throws the minion on top of Virtuoso. Nice. How is Diablo doing on 91? It's almost completing that.
Yeah. This is something we saw last game with this double support and this Vala, that Blasting Burros is really good about just laying into the structures with Siege.
Yeah, you trade like just super efficiently because you have that healing that you want to just brawl all the time and fight into get as much structure damage as you can, because you can just heal up the damage from those turrets. Personally, one of my favorite compositions is double support.
I like a variety, so I like it when double support is viable. I don't like it when it is the creme de la creme. I want to see a little bit of everything.
That's fair. I like my specialists as well. The After Medivh. who are basically just more supports. But.
All right, both sides deciding to race. This is going to favor Blasting Burros, I think. And it does.
Looks like it.
Yeah, so after 7, Vala's burn just goes through the roof.
Yeah, that repeating arrow is just insane. How is her Q stacks going? 8 out of 20?
I believe it is 20. Both sides posturing.
One more sleep dart for the first round of benefits for Ana. Should be the piercing sleep darts.
And if you're at the side of Blasting Burros, you don't even need to get in that close. Just close enough for Vala to throw a couple of Qs. And then you can back up. You can kind of do this little song and dance back and forth. You can see that healing beam was doing nothing with the bio grenade. Justice in trouble. Rag very deep, forced to trait himself away. Blasting Burros now backing up. And a huge sleep. Do they finally get Vala? No, Famous, they do not.
That was an excellent sleep, which will give him the 10.
Now, Li Ming.
That is 4 kills.
And whoop, that was my bad. I got so excited the microphone knocked over and hit the pause button.
Yeah, I heard some things fall, so it makes sense.
Yep, that was the microphone
resets.
Falling over and hitting the pause button. So sorry players, when you watch this, that's what happened.
So level 10s are achieved, and should be a free immortal. So that was a huge play for Archetype.
Yeah, that brings into focus that Li Ming. If they can just get that one kill, the whole thing just broke open. And that, in what's been a very close game up to this point, that could be the turning point. Win the race to 10. Get a pretty strong immortal, about 8% health or something.
However, once they get the level 10s on the side of Blasting Burros, Scarlet Aegis is going to make this team incredibly difficult to kill.
So, speaking of 10s, X-Strike, Lightning Breath, Wave of Force, Nano Boost, Earthquake, coming out for Archetype. Last rights, says Scarlet Aegis for White Mane, Warlord's Challenge.
7.
It is 7-sided strike, and Rain of Vengeance coming out for Blasting Burros.
Earthquake's online. There's a Swift Strike.
Vala
Instant deletion on Vala.
Wow.
Resets. Here we go. Genji does trade out, but that was fast.
I don't think Pyromantic even knew what hit him. He was just gone.
Garrosh is now overcommitted in position, and he should fall here. Getting healed a lot. Does survive. Yeah, that was pretty wild.
The execution. And the execution of Vala's execution by Archetype there was crisp. Very crisp.
Absolutely. 15 sleeps now for Ana. When she reaches 20, the range on her Q will be pretty ridiculous, so she can follow that Genji around no matter where with healing. As well as piercing on the heals as well. There's a good combo for Blasting Burros. They can throw Diablo into a 7-sided last rites for a potential complete assassination. Good sleep combo onto Vala. They're going to go for the aggressive invade, 313.
All is split out. Both teams going in. There's the flip. There's the taunt. There's the 7-sided. There's the last rights.
Clean him,
goes
but he's going to kill a lot of people.
Everyone's going down, Famous.
Yeah. Did a lot of work just Swift striking back and forth. But he had the X strike available to keep himself alive. A little unfortunate. White Mane should die. And a huge advantage to the Immortal will be their prize.
That was a everybody dive here and press their R buttons type of moment. Archetype coming out on top 3-1.
Yeah, I like the idea behind that invade, you know, pre-13. However, I think they really want to take slower fights, so opening themselves up into that open area there might not be the way to do it. They want to kind of fight around the Immortal and make sure it's a little bit slower.
Yeah, but I will say the flip side, they did get the Genji. I mean, so they
got one kill.
Yeah, well, what I mean, they got him in the flip, the taunt. They kind of got what they wanted.
Yeah.
In the engagement. Just everything after that, not so much.
For sure. I don't think they had the 7-sided set up quite right away, but they did end up killing him. But it's gonna be 100% Mortal Shields pushing this top lane.
This game slowly starting to tilt over to the blue side.
The crystal arch shines on.
Yeah, it looks that way. Li Ming with 35k damage, 13,000 above the double support Vala, so she's doing work.
Well, every time that Super Flip is getting those resets, he's taking full advantage.
Let the burning hells atone for their sins.
Yeah, one of the weaknesses of double support as well is actually defending siege, so this should be a really effective push.
Yeah, I mean, they basically couldn't step up. This thing's already gone. Without having 13 a talent tier down, they didn't feel comfortable going forward.
This is probably going to be a keep.
It's going to be close. It's going to be close. I like the
Sidewall
decision to
already
flow
open.
through that sidewall, though.
For sure, Diablo can go in free of charge now.
Odin anchoring that flank, hanging out in the steam vent.
His lightning breath actually was nerfed in the patch today, so 90-second cooldown was put to 70.
There goes the Diablo.
Earthquake.
There's the Earthquake.
Lightning
Lightning
breath.
breath going to be coming down. This is
Everyone's
going to be a
dead.
bloodbath. Or is it? Burros came out of that way better than I thought they had any right to do. Actually losing only one and now pushing back hard. Garrosh with the bio grenade on him, though, is in trouble, and that's going to be 2 more. It is a bloodbath, just a little bit more delayed.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be game 3. Going over to Archetype.
Yeah, that reset composition doing work. So 3 very different games, but 3 fairly dominant games.
Yeah, this one was pretty close, right up to about 10.
Mm-hmm. That one immortal fight really pushed the difference.
So we'll see if we can go jump over to lobby 1.
Sure. Yeah, 14 kills to 3 in that last game. So
Yeah, up to
very
like
well done.
up to 9, it was like dead even.
Mm-hmm.
But that 4-for-0 team fight, the resets with the Li Ming on the backside, just really broke that game open for.
Yeah, that biotic grenades really enabled the resets to come online, just preventing that healing.
Well, and we talked about it in game 2 that they didn't take the Emerald with the Deckard Cain, and then they went the total other direction with the Ana. It was like, we're just going to totally wipe out that healing, and it was effective, and it was a good decision.
Absolutely.
Did you get your coffee before?
I did not. It's midnight here, so or 20 after.
You're an animal, man. Animal.
Yeah, gotta do it. Gotta do it. Yeah, so who will they be playing next week?
Well,
Do you know yet?
I don't know, but I can bring up the bracket here quickly. They will be playing the winner of Adults with Jobs and Stepdads. That should be a hell of a series, actually. And one of those guys play, I think Friday, no, tomorrow night.
Oh.
At 8 p.m., so same bat time, different bat channel, though. It'll be over on Akuma's Twitch. We'll be casting that one. That will be a really good game. Both of those teams are really good, and regardless of who comes out, this A West Finals is going to be really good.
For sure. I'm excited to watch Archetype once again. I really like their macro play on game 1, and I really like their team fighting on game 3. If we do hear from anyone.
Bothering him. I pinged him in Discord, but now I'm actually whispering.
Okay.
Can't get away.
Who are you shouting out to?
The rag.
Okay. Yeah, Ranoris. I don't know how to say his name too well, but played it incredibly well, I think, all 3 games. I think that yeah, that anti-healing coming out for him was just key in game 1 and game 3.
Well, there's the guy. You wanted him, and you got him.
What's up, guys?
What's
Hello.
up, Burros?
Hey, man. Appreciate you guys inviting me in here.
Yeah, for sure. We were just talking about. We were pretty impressed with that support play, man. It seemed like every time something happened, it was something that you did, really making the plays all 3 of those games. So, congratulations.
Thanks,
guys,
man. Really appreciate that.
Advancing to the A West Finals. Beforehand, we were talking about the 2 teams. We expected a close matchup, probably going to go 3 games. Either team could win, and it was definitely true. But man, game 1 and 2 were pretty one-sided, one way and the other. Maybe tell us what it was like from your end, the game 1 to the game 2, and then what was the talk like after game 2 to make some adjustments to bounce back from that?
I mean, we're really confident. We've played a lot of Deckard a lot of the season, and Virtuoso's our shot caller for drafting. And he just felt Deckard was, a good pick. So, and we needed to prioritize that pretty high that game. So we first picked it. And then we just played our comforts really, and just continued to do what we've been doing all season. Going into game 2, they kind of played this main tank Zool, which is getting really popular in the HGC series, and it's something to take into consideration because it is really good, especially when they play with the level of execution that they did. So, shout out to Blasting Burros. They absolutely owned that synergy that you have to have with a main tank Zool comp. It was really frustrating to play into. We've tried to run it ourselves a little bit, not as successful as what was displayed there, but they really did a really good job game 2. So had us worried going into game 3 for sure.
So, talking about that Zool comp, is that something that was on your radar with them? Have they run that before, to your knowledge, or was that something that kind of surprised you guys?
We've seen it start to come into a little bit more play just in other areas, and we knew that there was something that they may have considered playing. I think we did scout out a little bit of what they had played a few days prior, and I think we did have that on our radar. We just didn't think that they were going to run it on Dragonshire. It just wasn't in our it wasn't in our line of sight at that point. They kind of LOS'd us with it, caught us off guard, and definitely took it to us.
So was the decision to take game 3 to Battlefield of Eternity, was that a way to kind of get away from that Zool style without actually having to ban the Zool?
Absolutely, 100%. Virtuoso called it out, and he's like, if they're running that, we'll just take them to BOE, and they can't run that there. They're gonna have to man up and come at us.
Famous, but oh, we lost it for a minute. He's back.
Yep. Sorry.
Okay. It's all
Welcome
good.
back.
Thank you.
Your turn, Famous. What do you got here for Renoris?
Awesome. I don't know how much I missed, but I don't know if you guys talked about map selection.
We did. That's literally just what we finished talking about.
Oh no. Okay, I really appreciated the change up there. Going to Battlefield Eternity after game 2, I thought that was really smart. And then anti-healing, I thought was pretty key all series long. Game 1, your emeralds were really, really important against that Alex Raza, and then game 3, the biotic grenades. So I was gonna ask, game 2, you elected to not go emerald. What was the thought process there?
The reason why I didn't, I was actually just asked this by another one of our players who wasn't able to play tonight, Solo. Just shout out to Solo real quick. He just popped into the channel and asked me the same question, why I didn't go that route. I felt the reason why I didn't go Emerald, because they had the double support, and we were playing a much later game style with the Zera tool. We knew we were gonna get pushed in very early. So taking the cooldown on Deckard's W allows for more ease to come out, so a little bit more wave clear potential, and then also a little bit more setup, so can potentially catch them off guard with a quick double E on the Deckard instead of having to force a cooldown from an Emerald. It's much more focused on doing a little bit more damage and getting a potential second route into a team fight.
Okay, I was interested in your thought process there. The other thing, I was curious, as you're a support main, what's your thoughts on Brightwing right now?
She's banned, or she's not allowed to be played in Dragonshire, so that should mean something, right? She's pretty good. I like the new Brightwing. We haven't really been messing with her too much. We're still picking with our favorites, sticking to our favorites. sticking with our guns, which has gotten us to where we are currently, where we've been. And I think, if we continue doing what we're comfortable with, it's going to take a lot to bring us out of our seat.
Right on.
So, two last questions for me. One, were you with Archetype last season or Norris? This is your first season?
Actually, this is my first time playing any type of competitive game at any level. So this is my first time playing with Archetype.
Then I'm going to insert another question.
Yeah.
How you liking it? What's your vibe playing with these guys and competitive?
Man, this has been awesome. So I played football in high school, so I love the team aspect, and that's something that I've missed in my life. So shout out to the whole Nexus Gaming Series community. It's been a great experience from day one. I absolutely love the guys I play with. I look forward to playing with them in the evenings, and it's kind of disheartening when we don't have everybody together and it's just like 2 or 3 of us around, because there's a lot of it's friends at this point. It's no longer just it's not just team. We're not just playing. We have a lot of fun when we play. There's a lot of laughing, a lot of memes that get thrown out there. We do a lot of dumb stuff in our downtime.
That's awesome.
That's actually very similar to why I started doing competitive back in Chair League. Was once I stopped playing baseball, I needed kind of something to be competitive, and it fit that void. Last question. Tomorrow,
Sure.
Stepdads, adults with jobs, you guys get the pleasure of playing the winner. Be played over on Akuma's channel at 8 o'clock tomorrow. What do you think of that matchup? Who's got the advantage? Does anybody have the advantage?
Ooh, that's a tough question. You're trying to throw me out under the bus. I don't know if I like that, Mongoose. No, but I think that's going to be a great matchup, to be honest. Both of those competitors are, they show their strengths, and they have a little bit different styles of playing. Stepdads, pretty good. Adults with jobs, pretty good. So there's definitely that matchup. That's definitely going to be a dynamic duo.
Well, that's it for me. Shout-outs for you before we let you go on your way, my friend.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. First and foremost, definitely want to shout both of you two out. Really appreciate you guys casting and the time you guys take out of your day to spend with us and cast us nerds. I know everybody on both teams can probably appreciate that. So, thanks first and foremost to you two. And then shout out to my team. Thanks, Frag, for filling in tonight for Solo. Shout out to Solo and his wife. Tonight is his wife's birthday, so shout out to her as well. So everybody on the team. I also want to shout out Echo Spawn. He's the creator of Archetype, the gaming community that he is trying to grow. It's a great atmosphere to be in. A lot of fun people to hang around. Shout out to Mom and Dad, obviously. Hopefully they're in the channel still. They probably went to bed because they're old, Shout out old people.
Shout out to old people.
All right, Renoris. Congratulations again, man. A great set. Thanks for giving everyone a show. And Famous, before I sign off, would you like to shout out to, other than Mom and Dad, of course?
Yeah, of course. Thanks to you, Mongoose, of course. Always love being in the Mongoose show. Thanks to the teams who played tonight, Archetype and Blasting Burros. You guys both did really well. And Renoris, great interview. Shout out to Twitch chat, and people can hit me up on famous_hots on Twitter and around the NGS co-casting usually.
Well, thanks for being here, man. It's always fun getting you on here. We have a good time. If people like what you're seeing here, hit that follow button on Twitch, Twitter. Big one for me is we're trying to get 100 subs. Hit that button so I change it from that hot mess of letters and numbers to some kind of URL. Happy birthday to Solo's wife, and be sure to check out Akuma's stream tomorrow. Winner of Adults with Jobs and Stepdads will match up against Archetype Gaming next week in the A West Finals. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you around.